This is what we have today. This looks a whole lot worse than it really is. They've got all this stuff bolted down, so I didn't have to secure anything. I just checked the bolts. But this is I get pretty anal when I haul this stuff. I check it right and left. This oil field equipment, I put hands on everything, because you never know when something's going to come loose and fly off. But I did find they had some tubing disconnected that would have flown off on both of these, and this bad boy right here was just about to fly off. That weighs about 3 pounds by itself. So not a bad load. It's over $5 a mile. I'll have to figure out exactly, but park up here near my house, and just to keep up my tough guy image, I get to ride my hog home. Thinking about joining the local bike club. Get me a leather jacket. Welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. Hope your trucks are running good. This was another typical week for me. Went into a little bit different territory than I normally do. My loads just kept moving me over a little bit more easterly than I normally go, but it worked out perfect, and I'll get into that. So I did 5 loads this week, all fairly short ones except for the last one, and I also have one trailer still hooked up, or one trailer still hooked up to my truck that I'm not counting in these numbers. So I'll drop that first thing Monday morning, make next week start off with a good load there. So for the week, 5 loads, 2,050 miles. There was one load in there where I had to deadhead 160 miles, I think, something like that. But I don't separate those numbers usually. I add them all in because they're all the same to me. I have to pay for the fuel. But except for the first load was some oil field equipment. It was about 40,000 pounds. All the rest of them were empty trailers. One wasn't, but it had insulation. It only weighed about 10,000 pounds. So all miles, 253 a mile. I worked a total of 37 hours. I had 23 hours left on my clock. I think it was 23. But anyway, you guys do the math. 37 hours. A lot of this was, I didn't wait around very much. With the oil field equipment, I was there for about an hour waiting for them to tell me where to park it. Other than that, it was hook and go, hook and go. Got very lucky. I didn't spend any more time than it took to do a pre-trip, and I was on the road. Loved it. Worked out great this week. So I left house on Monday morning, went and got the oil field equipment, came straight back to the house. Only worked about, 7 hours that day. Then I left again on Tuesday, came back. I was home Thursday night, went out again Friday, which I probably shouldn't count this, because that's the trailer I still have hooked up to my truck. Yeah, let's not count that. Forget you saw that. So I was home Thursday night for that week. My APU, I was driving down a very dark road last week, and apparently there were some old railroad tracks there that they took up, but it was like running over 10 speed bumps all in one, and I didn't see it. I was doing about 30 miles an hour, and knocked my truck out of alignment. It's eaten up one of my tires, and the switch on my APU got crushed. So I got to replace that, which is $100. But I had to idle all night. That I stayed out every night this week. Which, if it hadn't done that, I would have been well over 8 miles to the gallon. But I got 7.7 miles to the gallon. And I always have, people, asking me about my truck, and I don't think most people get 7.7 miles to the gallon. But keep in mind, like I said, most of these trailers were empty. Most of the time, I'm at 62 miles an hour or slower. I take off slow, I stop slow, and I drive slow. I don't usually pass anybody. So, I really work for this fuel mileage. Like I said, I idled a lot, so I spent $1,356 on fuel. My gross for the week was $5,200. Like I said, average week. My net after fuel and my insurance and load boards and all those things is about $3,300. Of course, my insurance was just about that much for 2 trucks. And if you're thinking, oh, that's expensive for insurance, my insurance payment, I only make it for 10 months. So really, per month, it's a lot less than that. But since I only make it for 10 months, and it runs that up and makes it look like my insurance is a lot more. But there you go, $3,300 for, a good week where I was home. Where was it? Left Monday, I was home 2 nights, and 2,200 or 2,100 miles basically. And so not a bad week. And my number that I like to point out, when you do, I take in all the hours I sat waiting for a trailer, all the hours I worked, hooking up a trailer or tying down a load, all the hours I spent driving, all my own duty hours. I take all those and I divide it into how my gross for the week. And what I call this is my happiness equation, efficiency. It was $140 per hour that I made. I am very happy with that, especially right now when loads are few and far between. But if you saw my video from yesterday about factoring, this would have been super easy, stress-free, if I could have factored every single load. But it's important, to talk about it, because if you can get a factoring company, I highly recommend it. It makes doing this, all you have to do is drive. You don't have to think about those invoices and getting paid and trying to make those calls when you're going down the road and pulling over to, pull up forms, and it just makes this $140 an hour stress-free. So there you go. Don't forget to like and subscribe.